Hey guys, Max here with another World of Warcraft Season of Discovery Phase 2 video. This time we're talking about all the new profession items that are coming up in the new phase. Really exciting stuff. Some of this stuff is pretty neat. We're just going to jump right in. We're going to start with Alchemy. They are getting a new epic potion called Mildly Eradicated Rejuvenation Potion. And what this does is it replenishes mana, health, and it also increases your attack power by 40 and your spell damage by 35 for 15 seconds. And it's on a 2-minute cooldown. So, really nice potion there. This is kind of like a new basic crafting material that has never been in Classic before. It's coming with this phase. You use like a leaded vial, some crates of tainted Genodine solution, probably from the new raid or maybe the PvP area, or maybe it comes from the new mithril or from mining or herbalism or something like that. Who knows? So interesting to see that. And then there's a lesser arcane elixir. This increases spell damage by up to 14 for 30 minutes. It's an elixir, not a potion. So really nice there. And then moving down to blacksmithing, we have a plate helm. All of the armor pieces for tailoring, leatherworking, blacksmithing, they're all helmets, which is really nice because in the last phase, if you went blacksmithing and took the chest, there was a tier set piece for chest, so you'd have to kind of pick. And then this one, the Normagon tier sets, I made a video on that. It's chest, legs, and boots. So now with the head piece from the professions, you won't have to choose. So plate, this is 16 strength, 16 stamina, 1% increased critical strike chance for melee and ranged attacks. And then it has a 10-minute use, gain intense concentration, reducing movement speed by 20%, but also increasing your spell resistance to all schools by 50, and it increases your melee attack speed by 20% for 10 seconds. Really, really nice. So you may have this on every boss during your progression or every other boss, depending on how fast you go through the instance, how much trash is in between each boss. So keep an eye on that. But really nice helm piece for the warriors and the rets. This one is for the Holy Paladins, 14 stamina, 15 intellect, has 21 to damage and healing. And then the clicky use is gain reinforced willpower, preventing silence, interruption effects, and spell pushback for 10 seconds. On a 10-minute cooldown. So more like I'm going to cast no matter what you do kind of thing. Really neat. And then there's another generic crafting piece, true silver plates for the blacksmiths. It uses true silver bars and 5 reflective scrap metals. I could have swore that you couldn't smelt a true silver bar before 225. It's been a minute, but maybe they're lowering it. But look out for that. I'm going to skip the actual pieces because I'm just going over the patterns. It's all kind of duplicated here. Moving down to enchanting, there is a new weapon enchant which increases spell damage with spells and attacks by X amount of number to mechanical creatures. The data mine wasn't able to pick up the amount of damage that the enchant does, but Nomargon will most likely have a lot of mechanical creatures in there. So really nice damage enchant for casters and melee. And then the chest is probably more towards tanks. It reflects damage back, 9 damage, kind of like a shield spike. You could also put this on a character that's out in the world farming if you like to mass pull, like a paladin or maybe a mage or something. I don't know, somebody that gets hit a bunch. A reflective damage on your chest might be pretty cool. So that's enchanting. Engineering, we got some new bombs. This is the bigger of the two, high yield radiation bomb. This does 150 to 250 fire damage to anybody in the blast radius, and then it also leaves a 25 nature damage dot that ticks every 2 seconds for 10 seconds. So potentially up to 500 damage on this bomb, which is really cool. And it also slows the movement speed of anything that gets hit by 25% for 10 seconds, 1-minute cooldown. I could see this also being really cool in PvP. Solid blasting powder, some Nomargon fallout, who knows where that comes from, and 2 mithril bars. So keep an eye on that. This one is Easy Throw Radiation Bomb. This looks like a little miniaturized version of the other one, although the materials are more expensive. Again, data mined, but this is 112 to 188 fire damage, 10 nature damage per second for 10 seconds. every 2 seconds, excuse me, and it reduces the movement speed by 25. So a little bit less damage and a little bit less on the dot over time. Another engineering schematic is a tank shield. This has 1,760 armor, 29 block, 9 strength, 10 stamina, gives 1% chance to block attacks, and then on a successful block, the whirling razor sharp gears on this shield inflict 5 to 10 physical damage to the attacker and 2 to 10 physical damage to the bear. So, kind of like a shield spike that works both ways. I thought that was pretty cool. If you put a shield spike on this thing and then got the enchant chest, you could probably get some pretty good reflective damage going. Maybe push it up to 40 or 50, maybe. So that's pretty neat. And then this engineering schematic, this is kind of like the blacksmithing with the true silver and the alchemy, just its genetic crafting pattern. It says 4 shadow gems, so keep an eye on that. I know they're probably cheap on the auction house. I probably wouldn't go too crazy on buying those to try to make a profit, because who knows, this could maybe just be used for a ruin quest or something like that, and one person on the server needs one, and now you buy a bunch of shadow gems and you can't get rid of them. So something to consider. And then polished true silver gears, another generic crafting material. This is why I kind of said maybe this one doesn't get used as much, because I saw this one here. And then hyperconductive gold wrap. This is an engineering belt. It's cloth, 9 stamina, increases your critical strike, melee and ranged attacks with spells by 1%. This also increases your chance to hit with melee and ranged attacks. So I guess melee could use this if they really wanted to hit. And then the on use, it's a 15-minute cooldown. Pull a hyperconductive coin from your belt and flip it. On a roll of heads, you gain 3% increased chance to crit with spells and melee attacks for the next 30 seconds. On a roll of tails, you gain 10% movement speed for the next 30 seconds. So it sounds like the heads is a little more for PvP, or excuse me, PvE, and then you could probably use both for PvP. Movement speed and PvP is pretty nice. So. And I like the this belt clinks faintly as you move. I thought that was pretty cool. Moving down to leatherworking. This is the generic crafting piece. Cured thick hide. Keep that in mind for skinners. This is going to be used in the new material. And then the leatherworking helms. This one is 14 strength, 14 agility, 14 stamina. Improves your chance to hit with spells and melee and ranged attacks by 1%. And then the clicky is interesting. It's instantly deal 343 to 757 damage to yourself, but also increase your melee and ranged attack speed by 20% for 10 seconds. 10-minute cooldown. I think that's going to be a hot commodity. Nice burst window click for the rogues and the shamans and the hunters. This is the rad resistant scale hood. This is the male version. I guess this would be for the shamans or elemental shamans. It improves your chance to hit with spells with melee and range attacks by 1%. It was a little different on the clicky though. Engage the radiation mitigation protocols in this helmet, causing you to immediately remove all active poison effects and gain immunity to all nature damage for 3 seconds. This was the only helmet that had this, so I don't know if there was a raid mechanic in the raid that has nature damage, or maybe shamans like to fight against Boomkin and other elemental shamans on the nature. I don't know. This is kind of weird. Let me know in the comment section below what you think this might be good for. And then the stats: 11 strength, 10 agility, 11 stamina, 10 intellect. And then the other male helm, this is probably for the resto and the elemental. This is increasing damage and healing by 21. And then the clicky, instantly dealing damage to yourself and then increasing your spell casting speed by 20% for 10 seconds, 10-minute cooldown, kind of like the other helms that had that same clicky. Really nice. And then the last leather working helmet increases damage and healing by 21. And then the clicky is gain meditation, allowing 100% of your mana regeneration to continue while casting for 20 seconds. So that's pretty neat. I wonder if you can just swap these out depending on the fight, if there's a more mana intensive fight for the leather, for the boomkins and the resto druids. And then lastly, we have tailoring. This is just the generic tailoring pattern. Looks like it uses some bolts of mage weave and then some other items that we haven't quite seen yet. And then the helmet for this, increased damage and healing done by 22. Restores 4 mana per second, or mana per 5, excuse me. And then harness the latent arcane energy in the nearby air to give you charged inspiration, reducing the mana cost of all spells by 50% for 12 seconds. And that's on a 10-minute cooldown. And then 10 stamina, 11 intellect. So really, really cool items. I'm very excited about them. Let me know in the comment section, what profession are you going in the next phase? And any particular one of these that you're excited about? I just recently started streaming on Twitch. I'll leave a description in the or a link in the description below. If you wouldn't mind considering subscribing to the channel, it does help unlock some of the new features for a new YouTuber like myself. So looking forward to those. And then there is a like button right below the video. If you think I deserve it, go ahead and push that for me. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.